20. Black celebrities who got divorced several times. What if I told you that behind the glamour of Hollywood's brightest black stars lies a trail of broken vows, fiery scandals, and marriages that crumbled faster than chart-topping hits? From Richard Pryor's 7 chaotic unions to Diana Ross's heartbreaking loss. These icons remind us that love in the spotlight is rarely a fairy tale. Divorce after divorce, they reveal the fragile side of fame that money and talent can't protect. Which story will surprise you most? Stay tuned, drop a comment, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence, because this is where truth meets legacy. Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor's genius as a comedian was matched only by the turbulence of his personal life. Born in 1940 in Peoria, Illinois, he grew up in a brothel run by his grandmother and endured neglect, abuse, and poverty. That difficult start shaped both his sharp, unfiltered humor and his complicated approach to relationships. Pryor walked down the aisle 7 times with 5 different women, a record that reflected both his yearning for love and his constant battle with demons. His first marriage was to Patricia Price in 1960, lasting only a year, during which they welcomed a son. Next came Shelley Bonus, a Jewish actress and activist, but their union also quickly unraveled. In 1973, Pryor married Deborah McGuire, a model, but the marriage ended in violence after he fired shots during a domestic dispute at a party, leading to their divorce. In 1981, he married actress Jennifer Lee, though the relationship lasted only a year amid constant fighting. By 1986, he wed Flynn Belaine, and that stormy marriage dissolved in 1991. Yet Pryor's complicated heart brought him back to familiar ground. He remarried both Belaine and Lee at different points, underscoring how love and chaos were never far apart in his life. In total, Pryor had 7 marriages, 2 to Lee, 2 to Belaine, and 3 others, making him one of Hollywood's most famous serial grooms. Despite the wreckage of broken vows, Pryor's partners often admitted they were drawn to his charisma and vulnerability. Even Jennifer Lee, who married him twice later, said she considered him her soulmate. But his addictions to cocaine, alcohol, and reckless living continually undermined his ability to sustain trust and stability. His later years, marked by multiple sclerosis, saw Lee return to his side in 2001, standing by him until his death in 2005. Pryor's story resonates because it blurs the line between brilliance and destruction. On stage, he was revolutionary, pioneering raw, fearless comedy that influenced generations. Off stage, he craved intimacy, yet struggled to honor it. His 7 marriages stand as a testament not just to failure, but to his relentless hope that the next union might finally bring peace. In the end, Richard Pryor remains both a legend of laughter and a cautionary tale about how even the most gifted can stumble in matters of the heart. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard's story is one of immense talent shadowed by turbulence in his personal life. Born in Chicago in 1969, he emerged as one of Hollywood's most magnetic actors, with standout performances in Hustle and Flow: Crash, and later as the complicated, luscious lion in War. Yet behind the fame, Howard has faced deep scars from his childhood and carried them into his marriages. He once revealed that his father was physically abusive, striking him daily until he was 14. That trauma left a mark, shaping not only his worldview, but also the volatile dynamics of his romantic relationships. Howard's first marriage was to Lori McComas, the mother of 3 of his children. They married young, divorced in 2001, reconciled briefly, and divorced again. Despite their attempts to rebuild, Howard admitted that his immaturity and temper got in the way. His second marriage to Michelle Gent in 2010 turned even darker. Their union ended in 2013 with accusations of physical violence. Gent claimed he hit and kicked her during a family vacation. Howard countered with claims of self-defense, but the judge labeled him a bully. The divorce proceedings were messy and public, placing his private turmoil in the spotlight. His third marriage to Mira Pack in 2013 offered hope for a new beginning. Pack, a former model and restaurateur, seemed to provide a grounding presence. Together, they welcomed 2 sons, Hero and Kieran. Howard often speaks about Pac as a true partner who encourages him to keep growing emotionally. Despite their divorce filing in 2015, they reunited and remain together, suggesting a more mature and enduring bond. Howard himself has admitted that he is still a work in progress. He speaks openly about striving to let go of ego violence and the baggage he carried for so long. While critics remain skeptical of his ability to change, Howard insists he has found balance with Mira and focuses on raising his children with more compassion than he once knew. His journey through multiple divorces mirrors a broader truth even the most gifted individuals must wrestle with their inner demons. For Terrence Howard, the battle to sustain love has been as dramatic as any role he has played on screen. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is known today as a king of comedy, a television powerhouse, and the beloved host of Family Feud. Yet his road to finding lasting love was marked by painful divorces and public battles. Born in 1957 in West Virginia, Harvey rose from humble beginnings working as a mailman and stand-up comic before breaking into television. His professional life was filled with laughter and success, but his personal life told a different story. Harvey married for the first time in 1981 to Marcia Harvey. Their union lasted 14 years and brought 3 children, but his early struggles as a comedian often kept him away from home. Balancing financial insecurity and ambition created cracks in the relationship, leading to their divorce in 1994. Still reeling from that separation, Harvey married Mary Lee Harvey in 1996. For nearly 9 years, the couple appeared united, but behind the scenes, their marriage crumbled under accusations of infidelity, legal disputes, and bitter custody battles. Their divorce in 2005 was anything but quiet, with explosive claims surfacing in court and the media. By the mid-2000s, Harvey had endured 2 failed marriages and a tarnished reputation in his personal life. Yet in 2007, he married Marjorie Bridges, a fashionista and mother of 3 from a previous marriage. With Marjorie, Harvey often says he finally found the one. They blended their families and built a partnership that Harvey credits with stabilizing both his career and emotional well-being. On their 12th anniversary, Harvey posted a heartfelt message. "Truth is, I love her and she loves me." Despite ongoing tabloid rumors about his marriage to Marjorie, Harvey insists their relationship is solid. He often tells fans that divorce, while painful, taught him resilience, humility, and the value of choosing the right partner. In interviews, he frames his past mistakes not as shameful, but as stepping stones. If you've never failed, what do you really know? Harvey's journey reminds us that love is not about perfection, but persistence. From the ashes of 2 broken marriages, he built a family where laughter and loyalty endure, proving that even after heartbreak, it's possible to start fresh. Diahann Carroll. Diahann Carroll was more than just a Hollywood actress. She was a trailblazer, the first Black woman to star in her own television series Julia in 1968, and a force on Broadway and film. Her dazzling talent earned her a Tony Award, an Academy Award nomination, and a Golden Globe. But her personal life, much like her career, was layered with triumphs and struggles. Carroll walked down the aisle 4 times, each marriage shaping her understanding of love loss and self-worth. Her first marriage was to Monty Kaye, a respected music manager and producer. They wed in 1956 and welcomed a daughter, Suzanne, but the marriage ended in divorce by 1963. Carroll then married Las Vegas boutique owner Fred Glussman in 1973. That relationship was short-lived. Glussman filed for divorce after only a few weeks, citing incompatibility and irreconcilable differences. The brevity of that union highlighted Carroll's restless pursuit of a partner who could match both her ambition and sensitivity. In 1975, Carroll found love again with Robert DeLeon, the managing editor of Jet magazine. Their marriage seemed promising, but tragedy struck when DeLeon died in a car accident just 2 years later. The loss devastated Carroll, forcing her to confront grief in the most public way possible. Still, she pushed forward with grace. Her 4th and final marriage was to singer Vic Damone in 1987. Though their union lasted nearly a decade, it was tumultuous, marked by frequent separations and eventual divorce in the mid-1990s. Reflecting on her relationships later in life, Carol was candid and unashamed. She once said, "I'm glad I had the opportunity to have those efforts because I learned a great deal about myself." For her, each marriage revealed new lessons about trust, compromise, and the illusions of romance. She admitted that sometimes a seemingly perfect partner could turn into a difficult marriage, proving that appearances often deceive. Beyond the heartbreak, Carol's strength lay in her ability to reinvent herself. Whether as Dominique Devereaux in Dynasty or as a performer on Broadway, she exuded confidence and elegance. Off-screen, her 4 marriages told a story of a woman who, despite setbacks, never stopped believing in love. Diane Carroll's life reminds us that resilience and reinvention often come at the cost of heartache, but they also create a legacy of honesty and courage. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, the greatest, was not only a 3-time heavyweight champion, but also one of the most charismatic figures of the 20th century. While the world remembers his lightning footwork and fearless political stances, his personal life was equally complex. Ali married 4 times with 3 divorces before settling into a partnership that lasted until his death in 2016. His first marriage was to Sanjay Roy in 1964, just months after he became champion. The relationship was brief, ending in 1966, as Roy resisted his strict adherence to Nation of Islam practices. In 1967, he married Belinda Boyd, later Khalila Ali, and together they had 4 children. That marriage lasted a decade but crumbled under the weight of Ali's infidelities and his growing fame. Ali's third wife, Veronica Portia, entered his life in 1977. Their union produced 2 daughters, Hannah and Layla, with Layla later becoming a boxing champion in her own right. But by 1986, that marriage too dissolved. That same year, Ali married Yolanda Lonnie Williams, a childhood acquaintance who had admired him since she was a young girl in Louisville. Lonnie proved to be a stabilizing force, standing by Ali as he battled Parkinson's disease and the physical toll of his boxing career. Their marriage lasted 30 years until his passing at age 74. Ali's daughter Hannah once shared that her father settled every divorce out of court, often giving his ex-wives half of his assets. Despite the heartbreak, he remained generous, wanting peace instead of conflict. Beyond his 4 official marriages, Ali fathered 9 children in total, including daughters born outside of wedlock. He strove to remain present in their lives, believing that his legacy was not only about victories in the ring, but also about being a father. Ali's romantic life mirrored his fighting style, bold, relentless, and sometimes reckless. Yet with Lonnie, he finally found a partner who offered unwavering support. In the end, Muhammad Ali's journey through love and divorce tells us that even the most powerful champions face battles they cannot win with fists. His greatest triumph was not just inside the boxing ring, but in his enduring pursuit of love and connection despite repeated heartbreak. Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield's name is etched in boxing history as the only 4-time world heavyweight champion, famous for his resilience in the ring and his unforgettable battles against Mike Tyson. But outside the ropes, Holyfield's personal life has been just as headline-grabbing, marked by multiple marriages, divorces, and a large family. Born in 1962 in Atmore, Alabama, he rose from humble beginnings to global stardom, yet his romantic life often mirrored the turbulence of his career. Holyfield has been married and divorced 3 times. His first wife was Paulette Bowen, with whom he had several children before their divorce. He later married Dr. Janice Itzon in 1996, a union that surprised fans because of her quiet professional background. That marriage ended in 2000, with Janice citing irreconcilable differences. His third marriage was to Candy Calvana Smith beginning in 2003. Together, they tried to build a stable life, but by 2012, the relationship collapsed, leading to another divorce. Over the years, Holyfield has fathered 11 children with 6 different women, a fact that the press often highlighted alongside his financial struggles. One of the most striking elements of Holyfield's personal journey was how his divorces and large family impacted his finances. Despite earning more than $200 million in prize money, he faced foreclosure on his Georgia mansion and battled child support issues. Critics claimed his lifestyle was unsustainable, but Holyfield defended his choices, insisting that he valued family above material possessions. Do you believe Holyfield's story is one of personal failure, or a reminder of how the pressures of fame and fortune can overwhelm even the strongest champions? In the 2020s, Holyfield appeared to find stability again. He reconnected with Siobhan Harris, a legal professional dedicated to protecting abused and neglected children. Their relationship was kept private until they married in 2022, a union celebrated as a fresh chapter in Holyfield's turbulent romantic life. Unlike the chaos of his earlier marriages, this partnership has been marked by mutual respect and discretion, suggesting that after years of heartbreak, the former champion may have finally found peace. Evander Holyfield's journey through love and loss is as compelling as his boxing career. Just like in the ring, he endured painful hits but kept standing, proving that resilience is not just about winning titles, but also about continuing to believe in love after repeated disappointments. Billy Dee Williams. Billy Dee Williams has long been celebrated as the epitome of suave sophistication in Hollywood. From his iconic role as Lando Calrissian in Star Wars, to his soulful performance opposite Diana Ross in Lady Sings the Blues, Williams embodied charm, elegance, and romance on screen. Yet behind that polished image, his personal life reflected a more complicated reality. Over the years, Williams married 3 times, and each union revealed both the allure and the challenges of being tethered to a man admired by millions. His first marriage was to Audrey Sellers in 1959. They shared a son, Corey, but the marriage ended in divorce just 4 years later in 1963. Williams later described this early union as troubled by his youth and immaturity. In 1968, he wed actress Marlene Clark, who was also carving out her own career in Hollywood. Though they were considered one of the most glamorous couples of the late 60s, their marriage was short-lived, dissolving in 1971. That separation marked another chapter of heartbreak, but Williams moved forward with the same determination he showed in his acting career. In 1972, he married Teruko Nakagami, and this relationship became the longest and most significant of his life. Together, they welcomed a daughter, Hanako, and for years they balanced family life with Williams's demanding Hollywood schedule. Although they separated in 1993, they never officially divorced, leaving their marital status legally intact, even as they lived apart. Williams later admitted that fidelity and commitment had been difficult for him, describing himself candidly as a philanderer in his memoir. He confessed that he was drawn to strong, independent women, but that very attraction often led to tension and eventual separation. Despite his struggles, Williams has always expressed deep love for his children and pride in the family he built. Corey and Hanako remain central figures in his life, and he frequently credits them with grounding him. Now in his 80s, Williams looks back on his marriages not as failures, but as learning experiences that shaped both his artistry and his outlook on love. Billy Dee Williams' journey reminds us that the silver screen's smoothest romantic hero was at his core a man searching for balance between passion and permanence. Aretha Franklin. Aretha Franklin. The Queen of Soul reigned supreme on stage, with a voice that could move nations. But in her private life, love was far less harmonious. Born in 1942 in Memphis, she became a cultural icon with classics like Respect and Natural Woman. Yet behind the spotlight, Franklin endured 2 failed marriages and relationships marked by turbulence and heartbreak. Her first marriage came in 1961 when she was just 19 years old. She wed Ted White, who also managed her career. Their union was marred by allegations of abuse and constant conflict. Although White helped guide her rise in the music industry, the cost was enormous physically, emotionally, and personally. They divorced in 1969, leaving Franklin wary of trusting again. Afterward, she lived with Ken Cunningham, with whom she had a son, but chose not to marry, perhaps out of caution from her first painful experience. In 1978, Franklin tried once more marrying actor Glynn Turman. At first, the marriage seemed filled with promise, blending her life with Turman's children. But within 6 years, the strain of conflicting careers and distance tore them apart, and they divorced in 1984. Franklin remained guarded afterward, often pouring her emotions into her music rather than her relationships. Do you think someone who suffers deep heartbreak early in life becomes more cautious, or does it make them chase love even harder? Despite the setbacks, Franklin never stopped believing in love, though she approached it with caution. Later in life, she became engaged to longtime companion Willie Wilkerson, but the wedding was called off before it even began. She joked to the press that they had moved a little too fast. Through it all, her true and lasting love was her music, which reflected every joy and sorrow she lived. Aretha Franklin's divorces didn't define her, they became part of the fuel that made her music so raw, relatable, and timeless. Her story proves that even the strongest voices can carry scars, and sometimes the only place for healing is the stage. Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman, one of basketball's most flamboyant and unpredictable stars, is as famous for his chaotic personal life as for his rebounding dominance on the court. Known as the Worm, Rodman won 5 NBA championships and became a global celebrity for his wild-style tattoos and colorful hair. But off the court, his marriages and divorces painted a portrait of instability and heartbreak. Rodman's first marriage was to Annie Bakes in 1992. Their union was brief, lasting only 82 days. Together, they had a daughter, Alexis, but the relationship dissolved under the weight of Rodman's wild lifestyle and trust issues. His second marriage may be his most infamous. In 1998, he wed model and actress Carmen Electra in Las Vegas. The marriage was as short as it was sensational. Within days, Rodman filed for annulment, and although they tried to reconcile, the couple divorced by 1999. The highly publicized relationship cemented Rodman's reputation as a man who lived on impulse. In 2003, Rodman married Michelle Moyer, the mother of his 2 youngest children, Dennis Jr. and Trinity. The marriage was unstable from the start, with Moyer filing for divorce just a year later. Although they attempted to reconcile on and off for nearly a decade, the divorce was finalized in 2012. By then, Rodman's image had become synonymous with chaos, tabloid scandals, financial troubles, and strained family ties. His daughter Trinity, now a rising star in women's soccer, has spoken candidly about their distant relationship, saying he was more a figure of fame than a present father. Rodman himself has admitted regret over the pain caused by his failed marriages, even apologizing publicly to his children. Yet his struggles reflect a man constantly searching for stability in a life built on extremes. Whether in his 3 failed marriages or countless public controversies, Rodman remains a reminder that even the boldest personalities are not immune to heartbreak. His story is not only about divorces, but also about the lifelong fight to reconcile his public persona with his private need for love and family. Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams built her reputation as a bold, unapologetic voice in radio and television, unafraid to spill celebrity tea. But behind the queen of media persona, her own love life was filled with painful chapters of divorce, betrayal, and resilience. Her first marriage was to Bert Girigori in 1994. At the time, Williams was making waves as a radio host in New York City. The marriage, however, lasted less than a year. Bert later revealed that Wendy seemed to become a different person once they were wed, more focused on her rising career than the relationship. They divorced quietly, but it left her determined to find a partner who could keep pace with her ambitions. In 1997, Wendy married Kevin Hunter, a man who would later become her business partner and manager. For a time, they appeared to be a power couple, especially after welcoming their only child, Kevin Hunter Jr., in 2000. Yet beneath the surface, their marriage was troubled by Kevin's controlling behavior and serial infidelities. Wendy admitted that she began contemplating divorce even while she was pregnant, recognizing early signs of his disloyalty. The breaking point came in 2019 when it was revealed that Hunter had fathered a child with another woman. The scandal became tabloid fodder, and Wendy filed for divorce, finalized in 2020. After the divorce, Wendy described the separation as cathartic, saying it freed her to reclaim her independence. Yet her life was further complicated by health struggles, including lymphedema Graves' disease, and more recently, primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. While her career and health battles have been difficult, Wendy remains a figure of resilience. Her story is one of reinvention proof that even after betrayal and heartbreak, a woman can rebuild her life on her own terms. Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou, born Marguerite Annie Johnson in 1928, became one of America's most celebrated poets, authors, and performers. Her words in I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings continue to inspire generations. But her private life, particularly her marriages, was just as complex and revealing as her art. Angelou married 3 times. Her first marriage was to a Greek sailor, Tosh Angelos, in 1951. Their union lasted only 2 years, ending in 1953. She later reflected that the marriage clashed with her need for independence, yet it gave her the name that would become globally known. Around 1960, she married South African freedom fighter Vusumuzi Maki. That marriage lasted about 3 years, complicated by political turmoil and Angelou's frequent relocations between Africa and Europe. Her third marriage was to Paul Dufault, a Welsh writer and builder, in 1973. This relationship lasted until 1981 before ending in divorce, a pattern Angelou described as part of her lifelong search for love and belonging. Her marriages, though short-lived, were deeply intertwined with her personal growth. Angelou often turned her heartbreak into art, drawing from the emotional highs and lows of these unions. Each relationship reflected her quest for connection while balancing her career activism and motherhood. Do you believe failed marriages weaken someone's legacy, or can they deepen the authenticity of their life's work? Angelou never hid her vulnerabilities. Instead, she wove them into her poetry, memoirs, and performances, reminding the world that imperfection is part of being human. Her divorces didn't diminish her stature, rather they enriched the honesty of her voice. From marriages that ended in disappointment, she created literature that continues to uplift millions. Maya Angelou's life shows us that broken unions can still produce enduring beauty, and that the strength of a woman lies not in perfection but in her ability to transform pain into power. Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan is best known for his Hall of Fame NFL career and his infectious smile on morning television. From the football field to the set of Good Morning America, Strahan has become a household name. Yet behind his charisma lies a history of marriages that ended in heartbreak and legal drama. His first marriage was to Wanda Hutchins in 1992. The couple had 2 children, Tanita and Michael Jr., and though their bond seemed strong, the relationship ended in divorce by 1996. Strahan later admitted that the long-distance strain, since Hutchins and the kids lived in Germany, played a big role in their split. In 1999, he married Jean Mugley. Their marriage brought twin daughters Isabella and Sophia, born in 2004. However, what should have been a joyful chapter turned bitter. By 2006, the couple divorced amid accusations of abuse and financial disputes. The custody battle was contentious, with both sides leveling harsh claims. Strahan himself said the divorce tested him more than any game he had ever played on the field. In 2009, Strahan got engaged to model Nicole Murphy, ex-wife of Eddie Murphy. Their relationship lasted 5 years, but by 2014 they ended the engagement due to alleged infidelity and conflicting lifestyles. Since 2015, Strahan has been in a quieter, more private relationship with Kayla Quick, preferring discretion after years of tabloid coverage. Do you think celebrities should keep their private lives hidden to protect themselves? Or does secrecy only spark more public curiosity? Through it all, Strahan has remained a devoted father. He frequently shares moments with his children on social media, showing that despite failed marriages, his role as a dad is his proudest achievement. His story illustrates that even a man who dominated the NFL can find relationships harder to navigate than the toughest opponent on the field. Chaka Khan. Chaka Khan, the queen of funk, rose to fame in the 1970s as the lead singer of Rufus, before launching a solo career with hits like I'm Every Woman and Through the Fire. With her powerhouse vocals and magnetic stage presence, Khan became one of music's most enduring icons. But behind the success, her romantic life was a winding road of marriages that didn't last. Her first marriage was to Hassan Khan in 1970, when she was only 17 years old. The young couple's relationship crumbled within a year, reflecting the impulsive nature of youthful love. In 1976, she married Richard Holland, a music producer. Their marriage produced a son, Damian Holland, born in 1979. Yet by 1980, their differences grew too wide and the union ended in divorce. After focusing on her music and raising her children, Khan tried love again in 2001, marrying Doug Rashid, a musician and producer. Though less public than her earlier relationships, this marriage also ended quietly in divorce. Khan has 2 children in total. Her daughter Malini, born in 1973 from a previous relationship, and Damian with Holland. Do you think marrying young sets someone up for repeated heartbreak, or can it actually teach valuable lessons early in life? Khan has been open about her personal struggles, including substance abuse, and how those battles sometimes complicated her relationships. Yet she has always found strength in her music and spirituality. While her 3 marriages ended in divorce, Khan's legacy is not defined by failed unions, but by resilience. She transformed her pain into soulful performances that resonate across generations. Chaka Khan's story proves that even queens of music are not immune to heartbreak, but through resilience and reinvention, they can continue to reign in their art. Her divorces were chapters of learning, not endings, reminding fans that even when love falters, the music never fades. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, one of the greatest comedians of all time, has lived a life filled with blockbuster films, stand-up brilliance, and undeniable charisma. Yet behind the fame, his personal relationships have often drawn as much attention as his career. With 2 divorces, multiple long-term relationships, and 10 children with different partners, Murphy's love life is as complex as his comedy. In 1993, Murphy married Nicole Mitchell. Together, they built a large family, welcoming 5 children: Bria Miles, Shane Zola, and Bella. For 12 years, their marriage appeared strong, but by 2005, Nicole filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Despite the split, both parents have remained committed to co-parenting. In 2008, Murphy married producer Tracy Edmonds in a symbolic ceremony in Bora Bora. But after just 2 weeks, they announced their separation, never making the marriage legally binding. The reasons were cited as family disapproval and irreconcilable differences. Outside of marriage, Murphy fathered children with several women. He shares a daughter with Spice Girl, Melanie Mel B. Brown, another daughter with Tamara Hood, and a son with Paulette McNeely. His youngest 2 children, Izzy and Max, are with his fiancée Paige Butcher, whom he began dating in 2012. In total, Murphy is the proud father of 10 children ranging from their mid-30s to single digits. Today, Murphy seems settled with Paige Butcher, engaged since 2018. They live a quieter life compared to his earlier tabloid years, suggesting that after decades of public romances, Murphy has finally found peace. Eddie Murphy's divorces and relationships remind us that even the funniest man in Hollywood cannot laugh his way out of heartbreak, but he continues to search for love, and that resilience keeps fans rooting for him. Halle Berry. Halle Berry, the Oscar-winning actress and one of Hollywood's most admired women, has seen her love life scrutinized almost as closely as her career. With 3 marriages and several high-profile breakups, Berry's journey through romance has been filled with triumphs, betrayals, and painful lessons. Her first marriage was to baseball star David Justice in 1993. Their relationship crumbled after 3 years, and the divorce was finalized in 1997. The split left Berry devastated, even admitting in interviews that she considered taking her own life, a stark reminder of how deeply love can wound. In 2001, Berry married singer Eric Benet. At first, their union looked like a fairy tale, but it soon unraveled when Benet admitted to sex addiction and infidelity. By 2003, they had separated, and their divorce was finalized in 2005. Barry then entered a long-term relationship with model Gabriel Aubry, with whom she had her daughter Nala in 2008. Their split in 2010 sparked a bitter custody battle that dragged on until 2014, exposing the darker side of Hollywood breakups. In 2013, Barry married French actor Olivier Martinez. They welcomed a son, Maceo, but by 2015, the couple divorced, with Barry agreeing to pay Martinez child support. After 3 failed marriages and public custody fights, Barry declared she was done with marriage. Since 2020, Barry has been in a relationship with musician Van Hunt. Unlike her earlier high-profile romances, this one has been quieter, more private, and seemingly more peaceful. Halle Berry's divorces reflect the reality that even the most glamorous stars face heartbreak, but they also reveal her resilience. She refuses to let failure define her, continuing to seek joy, family, and love on her own terms. Janice Gaye. Janice Hunter, later known as Janice Gaye, lived a life deeply intertwined with Motown legend Marvin Gaye. Their love story began in the early 1970s, when Janice was just 17, and Marvin, at 34, was already a superstar. The age gap and intensity of their relationship made headlines from the beginning. Despite the controversy, the two quickly grew inseparable, with Janice inspiring some of Marvin's most iconic music. They married in 1977 after years of a passionate yet troubled romance. Together they had 2 children, Nona and Frankie Gaye. But life with Marvin was anything but simple. His struggles with substance abuse, paranoia, and personal demons made their marriage volatile. By 1981, the couple divorced, though their emotional ties continued until his tragic death in 1984, when Marvin was shot by his father. Years later, Janice wrote a memoir, After the Dance: My Life with Marvin Gaye. In it, she recalled both the euphoric highs of being with a musical genius and the devastating lows of living through his addictions and emotional instability. She admitted that while their love was intense, it was also destructive, leaving scars that lasted long after their marriage ended. Do you think a relationship marked by passion but pain is worth the price? Or is true love only real when it brings peace? Janice never denied the challenges of her marriage, but she also emphasized the deep bond she shared with Marvin. Their love, though flawed, shaped her life and her children's futures. For Janice, the divorces and heartbreak were chapters in a larger story of resilience, survival, and honesty. She passed away in 2023 at the age of 66, remembered not just as Marvin Gaye's wife, but as a woman who bravely told her truth. Danny Glover. Danny Glover, the acclaimed actor and activist, best known for Lethal Weapon and The Color Purple, has lived a life filled with social impact and cinematic triumphs. But like many stars, his personal life has included its share of divorces and reinvention. Glover married his college sweetheart Asake Bomani in 1975. They shared a daughter, Mandisa, and spent 25 years together. Despite the longevity, the marriage ended in 2000, with Glover later reflecting that they had simply grown apart. The divorce marked the end of a significant chapter, but Glover remained close to his daughter, often calling fatherhood his proudest role. In 2009, Glover married Brazilian teacher and writer Eliane Cavaleiro. Their marriage lasted nearly a decade, though by 2018 they were rarely seen together. Reports later confirmed their separation, though neither publicly revealed the details. By 2020, Glover was seen vacationing in Sardinia with realtor Regina Murray, suggesting he had moved on to a new chapter in love. At over 70 years old, Glover showed that it's never too late to seek happiness again. His divorces, while quieter than some Hollywood scandals, reveal the challenges of balancing activism, acting, and personal commitments. Unlike his explosive film characters, Danny Glover handled his private life with dignity and respect, reminding us that endings don't erase decades of shared history. His journey reflects that love, like life, is about seasons, some lasting longer than others, but all leaving their mark. Diana Ross. Diana Ross, the legendary Motown diva and former lead singer of The Supremes, has dazzled the world with her voice, beauty, and presence for decades. Yet her journey in love has been just as dramatic as her music career. With 2 marriages and several high-profile romances, Ross has known both the joy and the heartbreak of marriage. Her first marriage was to music executive Robert Ellis Silberstein in 1971. During their 6-year marriage, they welcomed 2 daughters, Tracy Ellis Ross, who later became a star in her own right, and Chudney Ross. Despite the eventual divorce in 1977, Ross and Silberstein maintained an amicable relationship, co-parenting their daughters with respect and warmth. In 1985, Diana married Norwegian businessman Arne Næss Jr., a charismatic adventurer who brought excitement into her life. Together, they had 2 sons, Ross and Evan. Their marriage lasted 15 years, ending in divorce in 2000. Even after their separation, Ross continued to speak fondly of Næss, calling him the love of her life. Tragically, in 2004, Næss died in a mountain climbing accident in South Africa, leaving Ross devastated. Despite her divorces, Ross has remained close to her children, often celebrating their milestones publicly. Her family remains her anchor, even as her romantic life brought both blessings and sorrows. Diana Ross's story reminds us that love, like music, can be sweet, painful, and unforgettable all at once. Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson, one of the most respected actresses of her generation, built a career on breaking barriers and portraying strong, dignified Black women. But in her personal life, she experienced heartbreak through divorce and the difficulty of balancing love with a demanding career. Tyson's first marriage was to Kenneth Franklin in 1942, when she was only 18 years old. The marriage was short-lived, deteriorating within 18 months. They formally divorced in 1956, marking an early lesson in independence for Tyson. Her second and more famous marriage was to jazz legend Miles Davis. Tyson and Davis had been romantically linked since the 1960s, but they finally married in 1981. Their union was passionate yet complicated, strained by Davis's history of infidelity and struggles with substance abuse. They divorced in 1988, just a few years before Davis's death in 1991. Do you think artists who live such intense creative lives find it harder to maintain stable marriages, or do they simply attract more complicated partners? Despite her divorces, Tyson never let heartbreak overshadow her achievements. Her career flourished with Emmy-winning performances and a late-career resurgence in projects like The Help and How to Get Away with Murder. She passed away in 2021 at age 96, leaving a legacy of brilliance and courage. Tyson's story shows that while her marriages did not last, her life's work defined her legacy more powerfully than any romance. Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder, one of the greatest musical geniuses in history, has created timeless classics like Superstition and Isn't She Lovely? But beyond his towering career, his personal life has been equally eventful, marked by multiple marriages and a large family. His first marriage was to Motown singer Syreeta Wright in 1970. Though their union lasted just 2 years, they remained close collaborators, writing and recording together even after their 1972 divorce. In 2001, Stevie married fashion designer Kai Millard. They had 2 sons together, but their relationship ended after years of separation. Wonder filed for divorce in 2012, and by 2015 it was finalized. In 2017, Stevie married Tomika Robin Bracey, an educator significantly younger than him. Together they welcomed 2 children, adding to Stevie's already large family. In total, Wonder has 9 children with 5 different women, a fact that has often drawn media attention, but also highlights his enduring belief in family. Despite his divorces, Stevie Wonder's optimism and artistry never faded. He often draws from personal experiences in love and fatherhood to inspire his music. Even when love ended in divorce, his songs transformed private heartbreak into universal anthems. Stevie Wonder's journey reminds us that genius cannot shield anyone from the difficulties of marriage, but it can turn pain into melodies that live forever. Love and divorce have touched even the greatest Black icons, reminding us that fame offers no shield from heartbreak. From Richard Pryor's chaotic 7 marriages to Halle Berry's painful custody battles, these stories show resilience, reinvention, and the high cost of chasing love in the spotlight. Yet the question remains, do repeated divorces reveal failure in love or the courage to keep seeking it despite the risks? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was one of these journeys more shocking than the rest? Let's debate below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence.